Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, I'm just going to be doing some more cleanup. I actually want to redo these first few frames, like these first 50 frames, because there's like a small fighting segment that goes on here. And I just wanted to take the time to sort of redo it, maybe add some more detail to it because I didn't necessarily half-ass it, but I did want to like it wasn't really the main thing I want to focus on. I do want to just look through my animation real quick for just one quick second. Yeah, I am gonna have to go back through here and color this, but for the most part, everything does look pretty good, at least in my mind. It's just that there's this small fighting segment right here that goes on for like these, I want to say 60 frames. And I want to color that and just at least make this segment right here look a bit more seamless. But yeah, everything else looks pretty good. Looks done to me, and all I really need to do is just shade, and then I'll be like done with this. So I'm actually very excited to see how far I come and how far I go with this. After this project, I have had thoughts of like doing a little. Hmm, After this project, I have had thoughts of doing like a little. I don't know really. Maybe like a music animation or something. That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be pretty nice. This may not actually take that long. That's actually a bit better. Let's see. Where did I draw the magic again? I'm actually not talking that much. It's already been like 24 minutes. There's really not much for me to talk about or that I really want to talk about other than it's just been another day. I mean, there's a lot of discourse going on Twitter right now, but I don't really feel like weighing in on that subject. At least not at present. Maybe later. I was just working on the motion. I didn't really work on the environment around them. But this probably could have been the perfect time to do like some background animation, like the earth cracking or particles and segments and chunks of earth being like uplifted and uprooted. But since I'm so close to done, I might as well just save that for a future animation. Because if I keep going back and saying, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, I can change up this, then the project may never get completed. Hmm. Dang, and Sonya Macy is trending right now on X. So after this stream, I am gonna have to go by my uncle's house. I was helping him with a permit. He was working on getting a permit for a job, so he needed my help signing up for it. And he got the wrong permit last time. So that's when we decided to get the right permit this time because he needed an addition permit. And I said, hey, you need an addition permit. But then he got confused, so he kept having to call the permit office, and they said, oh, you need like a wastewater permit, and you need this kind of permit, and that kind of permit. And instead of getting the addition permit, he wanted me to sign him up for a like supplemental advisory building permit. Or yeah, it was like some sort of other permit, but it ended up being the wrong one. So then I had to go back to his house and sign him up for the right one this time, which was the right one to begin with. So I got the permit and everything squared out for him, and now he has to sign some more paperwork and get it scanned into the computer. So that's what I'm about to do for him around 12 when he picks me up. Because I have to go to his computer because my computer does not have the information and I don't have a scanner in my house. So that's another, I'm not going to say big issue, that's another small issue that exists. Honestly, I could probably do that for a living, like sign up for permits for people. That'd be pretty fun and interesting. I mean, things are moving digital now, so it's like not many folks really understand, especially the older generation. And you know, throughout this, I could probably actually add a blur to this to give it a bit more depth. I think for this segment though, I'm just going to use clear colored models instead of them having no fill. Just because this is supposed to be like a zoomed out area, so the characters aren't meant to have that much detail. And after I finish coloring these few missing frames right here, I do plan on shading. So let me actually go. Where is it? Right here. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. I am then going to go to this frame. Hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. I just need to shade right now. That's actually pretty good. Pretty good. Now it's time for the hard part, the shading. I'd have to say that of animation, when you get to shading your work, that's when it gets hard because you have to just stick it out. Like there's so many different figures and things you have to account for. Now the good thing about effects is you don't really have to worry about shading your effects because all that is once you reach the what was it again? Because it's like when it comes to effects, once you reach your post production and going into After Effects, all you really have to do for that is just add different blurs, different motion blurs, and glow effects. And you can use that with maybe even some camera lens filters in order to really sell the, I want to say, effect of it being an actual visual effect, of it being like an energy blast or there being smoke and smog, stuff like that. And then you can also even add a few shapes to After Effects as well. So that further takes the really takes the difficulty off of you as the artist. Now let's see here. Oh, and I am gonna have to go back through these and like make sure I name things properly. Now I'm actually gonna have to take this frame and put it on a separate one. Let's do smoke right here. Oh shit. So I accidentally knocked over one of my speakers. I hope I didn't break it, because that is $34, which I do not have at the moment. So for now, let's just move these frames up here. That is a layer that I don't need anymore. So I can just delete this. Uh, so while I'm naming these layers, what's everyone up to? How's everyone's day going? Not really much is happening on my end, so I'm just making sure that everything is named and ordered properly. Because I want to avoid issues in the future when I put this through After Effects. That's another plan, so I can just delete this layer. This is a layer I use for the back, so that's gonna be now I forget what this is. Ah, okay, I know what that is now. So let's see, hair, eyes, arm. Uh, this is just an empty layer. So I can delete this. I think I was gonna use this for something, and I didn't know what, so I just kept it there. But then I either forgot or just never used it again. So I probably could have downsized some of this stuff because I have like I have like 5 different layers for magic for different effects, which I'm probably not even using all the space in. But then I'm like, nah, like let me just save this because I don't want to do too much. I mean, I guess I could. After I'm done with my shading, I can go back through and see what can further be downsized. Because I'm just telling you guys right now, the fewer layers you guys have, the better. So then you can better composite your animation in post production. Add the effects you want, add the different glows and blurs that you want, the different adjustment layers, so on and so forth. So I think that's good for now. And so what I can do is I can find a good spot, let's say right here. Yeah, right here is going to be good. And I will add a shading layer. Now what I'm Oh, this is just this is my sit and chill series where on Tuesdays and Fridays I just turn on my live stream and you guys can come and go as you please. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And I'm just taking this time to work on my animation. Now, this specific animation is meant to be a more action and effects driven animation because I'm trying to work more on my action scenes as well as how I draw like energy, magic circles, stuff like that. I'm trying to carve out my own animation niche, I guess you could say. That's sort of my overarching goal. So right now I'm actually working on my shading layers. And so my plan for this is to actually I want to go by the main body, and then if there are any looser segments of animation, like say the hair or the eyes or something like that, then I can have special individual layers for that. Shading 1 and shading 2. Because actually, sometimes what you'll see in certain animations is, especially if it's a small project like, say, a TV series, sometimes they don't even shade the hair. They'll probably just add an effects layer or an adjustment layer to it. Oh, I'm not in the industry. I was never able to move to California and work for like a big company. What I know is stuff that I've independently learned as well as observed from other animators, specifically 2D animators. Because I have such a love for animation, what I'll do is sometimes, especially when I was younger, I would actually freeze frame TV shows like Code Lyoko or what's some other shows that I used to watch as a kid. Like I would freeze frame Code Lyoko, Pokemon, shows like that, and I would see and analyze how animators did their work. I also attended a lot of seminars, and my school had many different. Well, my university had many different animators who would come in and they would go over their animation process, as well as things that I just learned from my own experiences. Like, it makes sense to break up your animation amongst several different layers because there are multiple different moving parts that go into the animation. You can't afford to have your hair and your body and your arms all on one layer because then you would just be drawing the same thing over and over again, and then that leaves room for you to mess up your animation. Like when it comes to this frame right here, because this is an extreme zoom out where the details of the character models are barely able to be made out, I don't really need to shade this segment right here, so I can actually clear these frames. What was it? So I can skip this action segment right here, and then I can just go and shade this segment right here. Another thing with animation is 2D animation is specifically cell shaded animation. So you're not going to be making a digital portrait that has color blending. You can't really reconstitute that with animation software. So most animators are stuck with cell shading their animation, which is having geometric shapes and lines where light is meant to blend. Unless you're a 3D animator, then because spotlights exist, you do have that chance and opportunity for more dynamic lighting and shading of your models. But because I'm primarily a 2D animator, I mainly do cell shading for my animation. But even though I don't have, but even though I haven't been in the industry, I do have knowledge and understanding. Like I have been animating for a while now. Like I've been animating since high school, but I've been consistently animating for about 3.5 to 4 years now. So it was, I believe it was sophomore year of high school. So that's, and then 23, 24. So I've been animating for about 9 years. It doesn't look like 9 years of skill because, again, I'm just one person doing all of this. And because I do more targeted exercises, like the next project I do is going to be about character consistency and model consistency. Like, because that's something I really want to work on and develop is having consistent models. Because that's just something not only do I want for myself, but it's also going to help my animations look more professional and put together. Is staying consistently on model. Like for this animation, I actually had to redesign my original character so that he could better stay on model because his previous design had too many ruffles and it actually looked very messy and it was too much to account for the animation. So I had to downsize and sort of simplify his model for future animations. But it's definitely fun working on him and not just working on him, but animating in general. It's something that I love doing and it's something I very much enjoy. Like I have what else can I say other than I just have a love for animation? Like I love the process, I love the work that goes into it. Animators definitely deserve more respect than they're given. And that's any kind of animator, 2D or 3D. Oh no, I'm definitely starting my own studio. Look, so when it came to my time in university, it's actually really funny, but I am a religious man, so my experience in university sort of warned me for how the industry would teach me because a lot of my a lot of my peers and a lot of my fellow students they were very buddy buddy with the professors. Like the professor did not teach. She did not teach our class. She just said, "Hey, here's some, YouTube tutorials, and that's it. And then, like, every other class, we would have peer reviews. But the peer reviews were they were just too kind. Like, there was no constructive criticism. It was just like, hey, this needs some more work, or, maybe you should spend time on this. And so the peer reviews as well as the teacher didn't really help in the class. But because the professor had their like niche or like their little clique of students that they liked, that sort of factored into who was able to get into the concentration and who wasn't. Like, I got rejected from the animation concentration at least 3 times. And it was so bad to the point where I was afraid to open my email because every time I heard that notification sound for emails, I would associate it with, like, oh, something bad's gonna happen, or like, oh, I'm gonna get kicked out of the class. So I had to turn off my email notifications. I just had that much trauma from it. So I had to change my major, and I decided to use the tools I had available to me. So I used LinkedIn Learning. I contacted various other professors. I got really into my YouTube channel and started doing like character designs and speed paints and making different like animation and art tips and tricks videos and character design guides and stuff like that. I really became an independent study and an independent student, and I was still able to graduate in like 4 years. My peers, they ended up being like super seniors and super seniors. They had to like take an extra year or two of college, and that really drained their finances. But like, I kept with it, and I'm still animating, even though like I've met other people I went to college with, and they're like working in retail, and they're working in places that they don't like or enjoy. And I worked in retail too. I sort of faced too much harassment, and I ended up bailing out of my retail job. But I do have a part time job lined up with the city that I really hope I get. It's like being a stagehand technician for one of the um it's being a stagehand technician for one of the stages and film, not film, but basically the job position is being a stagehand, where I help. How do I turn down this phone? I'm sorry about that. Excuse me. 1 second while I turn down my phone. Okay. So, like I was saying, the job is to be a stagehand. I work with like running microphone cables and preparing video cameras and stuff like that, which is something I already do with my church. Like, I help out my church's microphones for our choir, and I help out with the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So I'm already doing some stuff that I like and enjoy. But long term, what I plan on doing is actually starting my own animation studio, my own 2D animation studio. I want to make my own shows, my own cartoons. And if you actually pay attention, that is really where the industry is moving right now. A lot of people are going independent, are going with indie animation and doing their own thing because really, like, the industry is just that bad right now. Like, ever since the writer's strike and actor's strike, Hollywood has not been the same, but they're still trying to push people to move to Hollywood. And if you actually look on places like LinkedIn and Indeed, there are still like animator and motion designer positions that say like on site in Hollywood or in California. And I'm like, the price of living is terrible in California. Like, so many different studios are actually moving out and are moving to places like Texas and are moving to Georgia and Atlanta. Like, Tyler Perry actually uprooted his entire studio, and now he's filming in Atlanta, I think. That's what I heard through the grapevine, at least. So it's like they're trying to push it so that people stay on that California train. But California is dying. And then the governor, even, is setting up different taxes for mansions. And ever since they implemented that $20 an hour minimum wage, like, companies have been downsizing their employees. And there's drugs, there's crime, there's a migrant crisis, there's so much different things going on that the industry is legit dying. The cost to film is terrible in California right now. Like, usually they give out tax credits for film projects, but they haven't been giving too much of a credit nowadays. So it's like, along with the job market, it's just terrible to be in the industry. And I even said, like, I was actually one of the people on Twitter and on X saying, like, hey, Hollywood never should have been a thing. Like, the industry needs to be decentralized. Like, go around the globe. There are many different states, many different cities that provide low interest loans for small businesses and small business grants as well, and like retail and office space. But it's like, there's just a spirit in Hollywood. Like, that's really all that can be said is there's a spirit in Hollywood that wants people to stay even though there is legitimately no reason to stay in Hollywood. Like, there is no reason to stay in Hollywood. The place is just it's too terrible. Like, it's too sinful. Like, there's too much stuff going on. You have folks doing stuff to minors. You have folks, like, you got to be a part of these strange cult like societies in order to get your name out there. You have to drink the Kool Aid, so to speak. It's just terrible. Like, that's really all that can be said is Hollywood is just a terrible place. So long term, I'm opening my own studio. It's gonna be in my city, and I'm going to be sourcing and finding local talent. Like, I'm not gonna, once I get things set up, like, I'm not going to say, hey, come to this city here. This is gonna be the next Hollywood. That's the major problem. Is folks want to be the next Hollywood or the next New York instead of being the first them. Like, that's a major problem. That's a major problem in the US. Is people don't want to be original or genuine. That's something that I personally notice is that people don't want to be themselves, they want to be somewhere else. Now, where I learned to animate, I learned from high school, and then I learned like the fundamentals of like figure drawing. And I would say, I'm just gonna be honest with you, bulk of what I learned is actually from high school. College just taught me like more fundamentals. But the issue with the college I went to, East Carolina, is the animation program there is strictly 3D. There are no 2D animation teachers. They do nothing with animation. They do nothing with 2D animation. Let me correct myself. And when it came to 2D, they wanted folks to use Photoshop, even though the Photoshop program is horrible. And I mean, Photoshop is horrible for 2D animation. Like, the rendering is terrible, the timeline tools are terrible. It's just a bad program. I personally use Adobe Animate for my animation. Well, that's the thing. 2D isn't dead. Like, look at Has Been Hotel. Look at. There was actually another good animation I saw. Another good animated show I saw. It was. But no, 2D animation isn't dead. Has Been Hotel is a freaking cult classic. Like, folks all across the world love that. And that's an entire indie project. Um. What else is there? There was this new pilot that came out, like Dungeon Flippers, that actually has quite a few good views on it. Like just go online, like go on YouTube. There's a bunch of different shows that are being produced, pilots that are being produced. 2D animation is not dead. It's just okay. So here's the secret: 2D animation is not dead. It's just corporations are switching to 3D because it's cheaper. That's literally the only reason. But 2D animation is amazing. Like, look at Walk Fu. Walk Fu, this freaking French animated TV show, that has a cult following as well. And that's been on the air since 2005, 2006. That's how old Walk Fu is. And there's like this new movie or season that came out very recently, actually, in like 2022, 2023. Folks want 2D animation to die, but it's not gonna die. That's the gospel truth on that matter. But no, if you go on place, if you go online, if you go on, I mean, just recently, some guy made a freaking shit post about Code Lyoko saying that it was terrible, and then his tweet got like, I think 74, 75,000 views, and it has like 2,000 comments, and it says person after person defending Code Lyoko. Like, there's a bunch of love for 2D animation. No, 2D is alive. 2D is alive. Big corporations just want it to die because they want to save money. That's also why you see a lot of like AI art and AI animations. There is a specific intention and desire that goes into animating that is not easily replicated by AI art. Like there was actually this really good piece I saw. Let me actually find it real quick. Let me actually take a quick break from animating. Uh, So right here, this right here is AI art. Okay, so it's very murky, and there's like just a general use of like one primary color. Like this is all AI art. This is actually biblical horror. Whereas right here, now this is art from an actual artist. So the left is AI art, sorry, I'm talking a bit too fast. And the right is art from an actual artist. Let me make sure that this isn't AI art real quick. Oh wait, no, this is AI art. My bad, because now I'm actually seeing it. I mean, because I could tell from that first image it was a bit AI, but I wanted to find. There was this one piece called like the Judgment of Egypt. It was a biblical art piece. Yeah, that's the hard part, is like it gets hard to tell the difference, but there is a difference, is what I'm trying to say. I think it was called like the 10 Plagues or something. Like right here. Okay, this is a good comparison. Right here. This is the Fifth Plague of Egypt by William Turner. This is a hand drawn, hand painted piece of art. So when it comes to AI art, there is a bit of rigidity to it. Like there is usually this consistency with the art where it just paints a general picture and depiction. Whereas when it comes to something that is hand drawn art, there is this idea and there is this aura of emotion and intention. Almost like there is a spirit behind the art. Like you can see right here, this is a hand drawn piece of art. There is a pyramid in the center. The central focus is Egypt, as symbolized by the pyramid, almost like a light in the end of the tunnel where you are meant to focus on this specific key aspect. You then have the rolling clouds that are in the corners of it, which symbolize the fury of the Lord. Even that touch of red, specifically symbolizing the wrath. And it could even be said that this area right here, almost like the calm in the storm, is sort of God's grace as well as that promise or that desire of the promised land that is seen in the Bible. And right down in here, you do have what appears to be like a dead animal. It looks like some sort of deer, or I want to say goat, as this red and darkness envelops it. Sort of the killing of the animals that were in the first few plagues. And then there is also this man that could either be Moses, who is speaking and casting down the judgments on Egypt, or it could even be the devil who is watching onwards as this is happening. But AI just creates an image, but it does not have a soul to use color theory. AI does not have the soul required to use things like color theory and focus, as well as perspective. There is a specific soul in art that AI cannot replicate. You see, the thing about me being an art teacher, so one of the things I love and one of the things I actually enjoy is using the Bible and using my faith to better reinforce my art. Like, Jesus was known for his parables. He told stories, he taught lessons through analogy. God himself would send visions to people all the time throughout the Bible in their dreams and through words. So, what I like, what I enjoy, and what I want to do is use my faith to carry holy messages, not through one to one redistributing biblical stories, but taking inspiration from, say, David and Goliath. Like, instead of just making an animated rendition of David and Goliath, why don't I tell a story about, like, a king who blesses a young knight with a sword to slay a dragon or to slay some evil beast? If I wanted to, I could take the story of Jacob and how he traveled to the land of Canaan to find a wife. And I could retell that story as like this old sage who was in the woods. Like different things like that. Like fun and amazing things that can be used to share messages and stories and give biblical stories a new light in the world. Because I'm gonna just be honest, like things are getting so hard out here. Like folks are so depressed and angry and upset. Like if you live in the US, you can't find a job. Like folks are moving back home with their parents, which there's nothing wrong with that, but like there is definitely this sadness and this shame that's going on in this day and age. Like people are just finding it hard to live. Like, would I be an art teacher? I've definitely thought about it. Maybe more of like an art historian or something. Oh, that's perfectly fine. You can come back anytime you'd like. No rush or pressure. I do stream on Tuesdays and Fridays. I usually tend to start at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my regular schedule when it comes to my animations and my streams. But definitely leave a follow. I mean, leave a subscription and be notified whenever I am on. Okay, that's pretty good. And it's already been an hour and 43 minutes. That's actually pretty long. And then I'm going to shade this, which isn't too bad, but no, it's not that bad. But I do think I am going to call it here for the day. I do want to say thank you all for stopping by my own little corner of art. 45 views, that's actually really good. And I definitely know that I get a lot more views on my rewatches. So if you all have made it to this point, please, by all means, subscribe. I'm actually trying to reach 500 subscribers because for my special 500 mark, I plan on redrawing my first OC and sort of giving her a more up to date appearance. So that's going to be my special my special 500 subscriber mark. Is going to be redrawing my OC as well as having a special extra long live stream. So I'll probably go for like 5 hours and then we'll talk about different stuff, different plans like that. Um, please be sure to like and comment as well as share. I'm definitely trying to get my name out there. I'm trying to grow in my animation and grow in my animation business. I'm really trying to just get up there and do more. I'm not trying to be the best there ever was, but if I can get like a good audience, then I mean, you guys are great. You guys are amazing, and I'm definitely very thankful. But you know, I always try to strive for more. Anyway, I do hope you all enjoyed. This has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. Let me actually replay my animation so then you guys can see it in full. So yeah, some very good progress coming along. Very nice. I like it. Anyway, this has been Owoh's Corner, my older corner of art, and I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.